the person struggles in thinking that they are not able to do it with their emotions. So and I knew what was my important things, you know.
And today we are again in sunny Barcelona for the next episode of the Athletic Mind Unleashed podcast. And this one is actually like special because I'm going more towards like a new direction. I'm focusing more on traveling and digital nomads and how to be like a healthy version of you whenever you're like traveling and always on the go. And today I have someone very special from the other side of the world.
Yes.
So that's Luciane or Lucy.
Yes, it's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
So tell me, where are you coming from and how long have you been traveling?
So I come from Brazil and I've been traveling for 4 months already. So yeah, I arrived in Albania 4 months ago. It was when my digital nomad life started. I just packed everything in Brazil and then just go through this journey. It's quite new for me, but I can say that it's been
4
wonderful.
months. So it's still like the beginning.
Yes.
So you came all the way from Brazil to Europe. So why did you choose Europe?
I have already been here. It's my 4th time in Europe. So in 2013, I came to an exchange. So I spent 3 months in Poland. But that time it was more just an exchange. I taught English and Brazilian culture in some small villages. And I fell in love with Europe and I said, oh, one day I'm gonna live there. But then, you know, life goes and in 2017 I came because I had like an ex-boyfriend who lived in London and then I came just for vacation. But then after pandemic I discovered like, oh, it's possible for you to travel and work. And I start like figuring out how I'm gonna do this, like my business online, and since 2019 I'm planning like to become a digital nomad.
Okay, so you have been planning for 4 years already.
Yeah, especially mentally. I think this is the most important preparation. Because of course financially, but if you don't have a strong mind, you don't support this life. Because it's not only, this is nice, you are traveling and working and perfect life. Yes and no. Pros and cons. So I think what I did, and it's nice, it was to really imagine how would my life be. And if I would like to have this life, I started following people. I started liking having advices from other people that already have this life, and it helped me because if you are not even having a good mindset, it was difficult. Imagine if I hadn't. It's like I'm all about like mindset and having like this identity of like an athlete, or like maybe for you having this identity of a traveler, and how to like if you have this identity, you make all the decisions based on this. You make all the decisions based on the mindset, and I think everything becomes a little bit easier because you have like that kind of focus. You're not like struggling. Okay, what do I want? Because I want to travel and I want to work, and I'm gonna make it happen. Exactly, yes. And you need to first adjust your routine and develop some skills when you are in your own country and after you start this journey. So I think after the pandemic, I started living by myself and then I started developing myself as a disciplined and motivated and a routine person because I was not like that. So these 3 years was essential for me to develop these skills before I start traveling. Because if you, I will start traveling and let's see how it goes. It can help for some people, but I don't think
it's the correct. But you like some kind of routine and structure for you.
Yeah.
I just read, just like this morning, I just read like a chapter from a book from Ajit Navalka, and it was about freedom. And he's saying that structure is actually freedom, because if you don't have any structure, like all over the place and you don't really know what you're doing. You don't live the life. And actually, if you have like certain structure and routine, in the end you have more freedom because you do all the things that are important for you, and you like support yourself, and then you have like even like more freedom to enjoy everything else and be in the flow.
Exactly.
And he was also saying that, okay, some people say that, okay, structure is like a prison, but he was like, okay, well, maybe you don't like structure because it has been like forced on you by others, but if you build a structure and routine for yourself, you like it, because you wouldn't want to be, I don't know, go to a restaurant and then just get your meal and then it's like maybe raw or like overcooked. You want to have it properly in a structural way.
Yes,
and you want to have things in order. And if you had like no structure, how would you like catch a plane or something? It's like you go to the airport, we don't know if the plane is going tonight or next month.
And I totally agree that this is freedom, because when you know when you're going to do the things, you cover all the areas of your life. When you don't know, you just go with the flow, you're probably going to forget something. And we need to remember that we are in the control. So I always say that we are protagonists of our lives, protagonists of our learning. So I think what people trying to say, oh, this is prison, I don't like it, because people thinking about monotony. So if you have the same routine, but you can change.
Yeah, you can have variations. And I would say that the routine also gives like some safety net for you. You have like some safety, some security, like all over the world, wherever you are. It's like you always have like something to fall back onto.
Yes, I always say like a protagonist routine. I like to take care about my mind, my body, my studies. So sometimes it changes the time that I do the things. Sometimes it changes the way that I do the things. But I do. For example, I needed to keep myself healthy. Okay, there were some moments during these 4 months that I didn't have a proper gym. Okay. But I had a park. But I could exercise by myself. I learned how to do it. In the pandemic, I learned how to exercise from home. So this helped me, because sometimes I didn't have a proper gym to go, so then I could do it by myself in hostels. I could do it by myself in the room of a shared dorm.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just a question about you do it, because you said that this is important to you. That's why the most important preparation is not physically, it's not anything, it's mentally. Because if you develop these skills, you can travel anywhere and continue being yourself. I say that my house nowadays is like who I am. I've heard this in a lyrics of a song.
Your house is who you are.
Your house is who you are. Okay. Because if you have your habits, if you have your skills, if you have the things that you like, doesn't matter where you are in the world, you feel yourself, you feel at home.
Okay.
So, but first, self-knowledge. First, you need to know what makes you happy, what is important for you. So when I didn't feel at home during these 4 months, it was the countries and the cities that I couldn't keep up my habits. Or because I was too anxious, or because my mind was too worried about something, and I couldn't read, I couldn't exercise, I didn't eat well, so I didn't feel at home.
Okay, so it
doesn't matter the country. I was in a beautiful place, I was in a stunning view, but I didn't feel at home because I didn't have my habits.
Yeah, actually, I have like this digital nomad framework that has like 7 different categories. The second one is environment, and it's like feeling at home anywhere where you are. And I think this is very important, but of course, like the nutrition, exercise, everything, and mind is important. But I also think that environment and like learning how to feel at home anywhere, it's also very important. And that's what you were like saying as well, like going to some new place and also like making this familiar for you and making it feel like home. So I think you also told me like that once you were like switching countries very, very often, like 1 week here, 1 week there. So
10 days.
So you were like always having like a new home.
Yes.
So if you're like always like traveling and maybe you were like 1 week or 10 days in one country, you were always switching. How did you make these places feel like home?
Feel like home. So the first country, it was Albania, and since the country went, I had like a routine. I arrived in the country and I was like super tired because before starting a digital nomad back then, I was in a crazy Euro trip with my family. So we did 5 countries in 19 days.
Wow.
So 2 days per country, so like buses and flights. And after that, I arrived in Albania. I was like, oh my God, what did I do with my life? I didn't have the sense of home anymore because I was not physically in my home. I was super tired. I was like totally dizzy and where I am. So it took me 3 or 4 days to self-locate. But what I did was, okay, I need to eat health. For me, it's important. And I knew what was my important things, because I had prepared this in Brazil. I had also this habit in Brazil. So then every time that I arrive in a country, I go to the supermarket, I buy the things for the week, and I prepare my lunch pack. At least for 2 days, because when I was living in hostels, I couldn't prepare for a week because I didn't have places in the fridge enough. So what I did, it was prepare at least for 2 or 3 days. So I'm not a good cook, so I like got things more prepared, like frozen things, but doesn't matter, it was health, like lettuce, salad or something like that. And then, this was my main meal during the week. I tried like local food, but during the weekend. So then I didn't have like, maybe if I can eat something that doesn't fit well, because I eat the same thing that I used to eat when I was in Brazil.
Oh wow, it's also supporting you.
Yeah, like my menu during the week is exactly the same when I was in Brazil. Like mashed potatoes, vegetables, some chicken, and I had the same habits. So for me, my mind didn't change anything. I like to try local food, but just on the weekend.
Do you also get like the same products from the supermarket that you would have in Brazil?
Exactly,
like
the same food, the same products. So in this part I really take care, and since the day one in my digital nomad life. Also, another thing that I do when I arrive in a country is like self-locate. So I like to walk around in a neighborhood here is the supermarket that I will go, here is the park that I will go. So I like to have this location guide to get used with the neighborhood and sounds familiar to me. So I also like to do this. And also another habit that I have is select the cafés that I will work during the week. So normally I select, for example, in Slovenia, I just spent 5 days there. But when I was in the flight, I was doing this. Where are the cafés that I'm gonna work? Where are the tourist points that I'm gonna visit? And then I established like the proper day to do it. So then I can do both, work and also enjoy the city. And also I try to choose places where it's walkable. So hostels, for example, I always choose hostels that is maximum 1 kilometer from the center, from the downtown, or if there's a place with beach, I like to stay close to the beach, so I prefer those places, or close to a park, so then I can keep up my exercise routine. And also reading, I like wake up, have like my morning routine that I did in Brazil. So that is what I'm saying. Doesn't matter if you have never traveled, have never been out of your country, start being a digital nomad in your country.
Oh yeah, that's also. You start building the routine before you leave, and then you can, like I say, you can kind of like pack your routine with you with all the other things.
That's the point. If you don't have a routine with you, if you don't have habits with you in your country, it will be much more difficult to have this out of
start in a whole new place where everything is like,
because everything is different.
Yeah.
So when I was in Brazil, I used to work in cafe. I didn't start working cafes here. It was my routine when I was there. When I was in Brazil, I exercised from my home. I didn't want to go to the gym. Why I didn't want to go to the gym? Because I knew that I needed to learn this, like to do by myself, because I didn't know how would it be my life. So I learned to do this by myself. I learned how to paint my nails by myself.
Oh, nice.
So I start like preparing my life to learn how to do the things by myself, because I knew that the other life it would be, I don't know, like unexpected things could happen. So
yeah, I wanted to come back to this meal prep and preparing your lunches. Does it also mean that you have like a lunch boxes with you in your luggage?
Yeah.
So you carry them also from home?
Yeah. Actually, I bought them when I was in Albania. And when I arrived there, I didn't care from Brazil because I forgot to bring. And it was really difficult to find the lunch things in the Balkans. Here it's easier, I can find anywhere, but it was really difficult there. So I bought the aluminium one, the recyclable one. And the first week I used the aluminium one, and then the other city I found and I carried with me, but the ones that I can unpack, and it's smaller. And so I have 4. So which is the lunch and the dinner for 2 days.
Okay. So you kind of have a routine in place for your traveling and the nomad life. But do you have any struggles, any problems that you face?
Yes, for sure. So there are some times that our mind is too busy and we can't keep up a routine. But we needed to remember.
So this is a distraction for your routine right now. This is how life is happening. Distractions come and they're like.
That is the point.
Yeah.
People used to think that to be a disciplined person, a routine person, means that you need to do this 365 days in a year, and this is a myth.
Yeah.
Of course, you can't be the same person. Like dogs are not the same person. Like cell phones are not the same. There are some days that is working better than other days that don't. So what I do is I try to look up the week. So the average of the week. So of course, in the first month, I didn't have a proper routine, because I knew that everything was new for me. So respect yourself, it's always important.
Yeah.
That's why I say, what is the first thing that a digital nomad should do is mental preparation, self-knowledge. And you don't do this when you are out of your country. You do this when you are in your country. So start, I have been in this self-knowledge journey for the past 10 years.
Okay, so it's a long one, and it's always it's never ending.
Exactly, never ending.
Yeah.
I always, apart from being 10 years, when I arrived here, it was new for me. The first week, I start having feelings that I have never felt. I didn't recognize, one day I was super happy, another day I was sad, another day I cried. And don't blame yourself, don't try to judge yourself, just look to these feelings and trying to embrace them, trying to look the feelings and say, that's okay, that is new for me. Because there are people that are so stick, but I can't do my routine, this doesn't work for me.
So it's 100% or nothing.
Yeah.
But not for you. You're
no, but because if you are 100% or nothing, you are not able to keep up a routine.
Yeah.
So also another thing that helps, and I started doing this when I was in Brazil, is to do little is better than do nothing.
Yeah, I totally agree.
If you don't have time to go 1 hour for the gym, which I have now, but in Brazil I didn't have the time, I exercised 15 minutes from my home.
Yeah.
Just do an abs, just do some exercises from your home.
Yeah, just do the easiest way possible, because this is also a concept called zero resistance habits. So you do something that has the least resistance for you, zero resistance. That is the easiest thing to do. So maybe for some people it can be okay, I'm gonna do 1 push-up because this is so easy. And so it's so easy, it's almost laughable.
You cannot skip.
And then maybe you do 3 because 1 was easy, I'm just gonna do a little bit more. And you start adding up, and your kind of the set point also starts, raising.
Yeah.
And you can do more and more.
Exactly.
And some days maybe you need to do this 1 push-up or 15 minutes of exercise, because life is also happening.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
That's the point, I think that this is something that everybody should incorporate in the routine. Do little is better than do nothing. Don't just have 10 minutes, do it. For example, reading is so difficult to read when your mind is not okay.
Yeah.
You can't concentrate, but I put time. I don't read per pages, I read per time. I sit to read a book, and then I put a timer, 10 minutes. And there are days that 10 minutes I read only 2 pages. There are days that 10 minutes I read 3 or 4 pages or more. So, don't be so mad with yourself. So I think this helps. Maybe.
And you also said that the mental preparation is super important. So do you have any methods, tools? How did you I don't know, train your mind?
Yeah, I always like to imagine how I would like to be in the future. So since I was in Brazil, I tried to put my mind in a future, in a short-term future, and think, how will it be? Of course, for me, it was kind of easier because it's not my first time in Europe. That's why I say that you need to start being a digital nomad in your country, or at least being as a tourist. So if it was my first time in Europe, my first time out of Brazil, it would be more difficult for sure. So I knew Europe. I had been here in the winter. I had been here in the summer. So I didn't have cultural shock because I already had been here. So I knew, okay, but how it's gonna be? What can happen? So for me, I have some struggles like with finances. Sometimes this worries me, and I'm working on it, like trusting myself, organize myself. Okay, you will be able to do it. Okay, establish like this is how much I can spend. So if this worries you, and if you know that this worries you, work on it. Yeah. So money for me is something that worries me. So I know this, and I started having actions to avoid this be a bigger problem. Okay, so I have the amount that I can spend, and I don't spend more than it.
Okay, so you're like very structured in your ways.
Yeah, because I know that this is something that sometimes can interfere in my mental health. So if I know it, I work on it. So that's the point. So if you are afraid about being alone, for example, that is something that sometimes you are never alone. This is the first thing.
You're with yourself.
With yourself, this is the most important. But if you are not with yourself when you are in your own country, you will not be with yourself when you are out. Yeah. So sometimes being with yourself is worse than being with the other person. I used it to be like the worst friend that I could have for me, because I was so demanding, so perfectionist with myself. I didn't valorize myself. I was always pushing myself. So when I start working on this, everything was fine. Okay. Because you will travel with yourself. Doesn't matter if you are in a hostel with 12 people in the same room, you are with yourself. Yeah. You are with yourself. And nowadays it's much easier. You have social medias. You can connect with your friends if you miss them. You can call them. So 10 years ago when I came to Poland, there was no Instagram. So it was much more difficult. There was like just Skype. And I didn't have the correct equipment, the proper equipment. My cell phone I didn't have. So now it's easier. And also something that helps me is to write. Sometimes, or to record videos, like to myself, not to promote.
Okay, I know that you also record like a lot of content for your work.
Yeah, nowadays. Nowadays, yes. So this was something that I started doing in Brazil. So that's the point. If you want to have a digital nomad life, start doing this right now. But if you are already a digital nomad, if you are already in the way, and if you are struggling with financial issues, if you are struggling with loneliness, if you are struggling with anxiety, like, okay, first identify what is the struggle. Because most of the time the struggle is only in our mind.
Yeah, it all starts with the awareness, because if you don't know what the problem is, you can't handle it.
Exactly.
It's okay, what's the problem?
I'm feeling, but okay, stop. What are you feeling? Ask for yourself, what are you feeling? What is the problem? So look at the mirror and ask it for yourself, okay, what is the problem? Yeah. And you will see that most of the time the problem is way smaller than you think it is.
I think when you like maybe write it out, or maybe record a video for yourself or audio, and then you just watch it, it's like, oh my god, this is stupid. This is not the problem. Not anymore.
Okay to feel.
It's okay to feel, of course.
Allow yourself to feel, because in the past I didn't allow myself to feel. When I felt anxious, I was desperate. Oh my god, I need to be well. I'm anxious. Oh no, and this disturbed everything. But now when I feel anxious, when I feel I'm not okay, I stop, really. I do it like this. I stop, I breathe, and I said, what is happening, Luciane? I asked to myself, what is happening? Oh, but what if we don't find a place? What if nobody helps us? What if we don't have money? And what if? And okay, And then I start listing, okay, what if we don't have a place? What are we gonna do? What if we don't have money? What are we gonna do? So then I list the problems that my mind is saying to me that is a problem, and I create actions to this.
So you already have solutions before the problem actually comes to your life.
Sometimes it's not
So
even a problem.
you already have like a plan B before everything starts happening.
Exactly. So, okay, what if I don't find a place? Or if, for example, I was so struggling in the beginning because I didn't leave Brazil with all the things booked. I booked it when I was in Albania. So in my first week in Albania, I didn't know what I would do in the next week. Okay.
You didn't even know what country you were going to, or?
I had some countries planned. I wanted to do the Balkans because for me, due to my currency, it was better, like to start. They are cheaper countries. And also I had already been in other countries in Europe, so I would like to know different places. So, but I didn't know which would be.
Okay.
So I was there and I was anxious because I was working, but I didn't have the next week planned. And then I say, okay, one day I sit with myself, okay, I will plan. So this started being part of my routine.
Also planning. Yeah.
This is also a job. Like it's like an extra job. And when I start considering this is an extra job, things go easier for me. Because I was like afraid if the week arrives and I don't know where I'm gonna live, and don't know where and the flight is, I haven't booked it yet. I say, okay, if this is worrying you, do it.
Yeah, just handle it, and then it's like out of your head and out of your mind, and you can continue with life.
Yeah. But it took me a time to learn this. There were also some weeks that I was extremely anxious because I had some problems with my card, and then I didn't know, I was not finding the correct place to live, and I was stressed. And okay, I tried to walk on the city, you know. I tried to remember myself every day why I started this.
Yeah.
So blessed who I am to be here because this is the life that I wanted to have. So sometimes when I was during the journey, so I just walked on the street and look.
Yeah, I'm in Europe, I'm traveling.
That is the point, you know. I was like, okay, this is a problem, but look, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That's why when I lose myself, I mean, when I'm not my best friend, that's the problem.
Okay.
And this interferes in the routine.
So you need to like come back to yourself and remember like why you're doing it, why you enjoy all this, and also like remember what is grounding you and what is balancing your mind.
Always. If you are not your best friend, you cannot travel, you cannot keep up a healthy routine, you cannot exercise, you cannot do anything. And there were some times during the travel that I lost myself. But then
it all starts with you. And about those, I wanted to come back to the social connections part a little bit. So you said you had to be like your own best friend, and you were like never alone. And we actually met because we went to the same co-working. It's like,
this is also a good place to meet people. Well, I have met many people during this format, really, so many people. But you need to push yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you think that, I don't want to go out, I don't go to socialize, so you need to push yourself. I was living by myself for the past 3 years, and I was kind of closed. I think after the pandemic, I started being so like working from my home, exercising from my home.
Everything is in the home.
I was so in. Even my friends were worried with me. And then I said, okay, that's why maybe I need to really travel. And
really go out of your comfort zone and really go out of your home.
That's why I chose in the first month to stay in hostels. Because hostels for me are the best way to socialize. Because you are there will be people there. I had such good experiences in hostels all the time. You can choose hostels with a small bunch of people. You don't need to have like, I always choose with 4 people in the room.
Okay.
Normally more female rooms. So you look for the best options. I look for boutique hostels that you have more organized things. And then you have like the common area, you meet people. So for me it was crucial to me, the hostel in the 4 months of my experience.
Okay.
Because if I book at Airbnb, for example, it would be different.
Yeah, for me, like you can see right now, I'm like staying with dogs.
Yes.
So I'm not like living with other people. I'm just doing like this house sitting and pet sitting. So when the owner is traveling, I'm staying at their place, taking care of the dogs. I've been here like almost 3 weeks, like 19 days, leaving tomorrow, and then I will go to another place where I will have like a cat and a dog.
But you connected in the club.
Yeah,
so
but I'm also going to the co-working because I want to see other people and I want to have like this feeling of, you know, being around other people and just everybody's doing their own stuff, you know, in the co-working, but it's still like somebody else is being productive, sitting next to me.
Yeah.
And for me, this is like very, very important.
Yeah.
I think as you also come there, it's also important for you.
Yeah, it's so important for me, especially here that I'm going to spend 2 months. This was the first thing that I thought. I needed to have like a place to be more productive. I can be really productive in cafés. This is not a problem for me, but I have trained this in Brazil. I was not like this. I couldn't work in cafe, I couldn't work from home, but I have been doing this for the past 4 years. So that is what I'm saying. So if you are a digital nomad that you don't have this life in your house, it will be more difficult, and you have to respect yourself. If it's new for you, work from different places, new for you everything, respect yourself. It will take time.
And I think when you're like also working from different places, you also need some specific equipment maybe. So what did you pack with you when you were like?
Yes, I have
my technology.
Yes, also something that I prepared since I was in Brazil. I have everything in Google Drive, so I can work everywhere from any computer. So I don't need like a computer with so many things. Of course, my work helps this. I don't know other people work. Maybe they need some softwares that are specific computer. So my laptop is so light. So it's like lighter than a book. So it's really light and portable. So it's easier. And also I carry just like a microphone because I record videos that is without cable. And a self-stick, which is also light. So it's only 3 things. And there are the cables, of course. So, but it's like a smaller things. So I got used to working this laptop when I was in Brazil because it's not like a heavy one. I don't need a keyboard as well. I'm okay working this. I don't need a mouse. So I adapted myself working like this because I knew that I wouldn't have this here. So
okay, you started talking about the work a little bit, so maybe you can also tell a bit about what you do, and because you have like this very kind of unique thing that you can take it with you anywhere when you're traveling.
Yes. I help Brazilian people with their struggles about language skills. Now with English, but I had already taught Spanish to some people. We also had a Spanish teacher working with me. But for me, my work is more about helping the people with their struggles in habits, in routine, in learning a new language, especially because I work with adults. So it's not only about teaching English to them, of course this is one point, but it's about helping them to keep up their language routines, their studying routines, self-discipline and all those things. So yes, and then I want to work more with teachers now to provide to a person who knows the language, who is skillful, be able to do it anywhere as well. As I
like
did.
be like a nomad.
Why not? Yeah. If you know English and if you want to have an extra income, because sometimes people go like a nomad and they don't know what to do. So they start like a freelancer. Most of people work for market things, freelancer market. But have you ever thought about teaching? So if you like people, if you like helping people, if you like conduct people in their struggles, you can, and of course if you know English, and you don't need to be like super C2 level. No, if you are B1 level, you can help someone who is starting.
And if it's already somebody somewhere said, if you already know like 5% more than other person, you can teach the other person. Because you also like keep evolving when you're teaching.
I learned it a lot.
Yeah.
I learned it a lot. Because for me, the most important is not only, I need to have a perfect English. I needed to know how to conduct my students in the way to reach their goals. This is the most important.
It's not about you.
It's not only about me, because if I have the perfect English, but I'm not a person who likes people, if I'm not a person who is dynamic, who is didactic, doesn't matter. How many teachers did you have in the university that they were not good teachers? They were many. They were the best in their profession. They had lots of knowledge, but they didn't know how to teach.
Yeah, and always the ones who were like favorite teachers, they were like they had like some kind of personality. It wasn't about maybe the teaching methods, but how they were like communicating.
Exactly, how they motivate you. So this is the most important when you are teaching someone. You need to motivate the person. And we have been talking here about skills, about routine, about mindset. This is the things.
This is also about language learning. It's not about just when traveling we need the routine skills. Also when you're like learning a language.
Exactly.
This is kind of like coaching other people, even not like just teaching, but kind of coaching and guiding and mentoring. Not just giving the knowledge, but also like, okay, what are the habits? What are the things that
because the grammar is online. If the person wants to know grammar, just Google it and it's gonna find. But no, the person doesn't learn by themselves. Why? Because the person struggles in what? In routine. In self-knowledge. The person struggles in thinking that they are not able to do it with their emotions. So it's more about helping people with time management, psychological part, and emotional part, than with the language itself. Language is just 20%.
Yeah.
So I think that this is most important.
It's again about mindset. Also, like as being a digital nomad, it's all about the mindset, and then everything else is like just comes as a bonus, maybe even.
Yes. If you don't invest in yourself, in being awareness about who you are, about your struggles, about what your mind thinks, about your beliefs, you will never have anything in your life. Yeah. Year by year, it's gonna enter another year, another expectation, and you finalize the year frustrated. Why? Because you didn't establish the correct goals. You say, this year I will be healthy, I will speak another language, I will receive a lot of money. Okay, but how are you gonna do this? If you just speak up, December will come and you will never achieve. So
December is coming to an end very soon. How do you feel about this year?
It was a really special year because I could achieve everything that I wanted, especially because I planned what I wanted. So the time would pass anyway. Like 10 years ago when I was here the first time, I said one day I will be here working, and I didn't know even how I would do this. And then the time passed, but I work actively through the time. So it's not only about the time, about the year, it's about how active you are in the process, I think. So I could achieve many goals, like bringing my parents to Europe. It was a dream come true. Traveling, but it was not just lucky. No, I've worked to do this. Not only working about my job, but working about believing, working about all the time that I thought that it wouldn't be possible. Okay, no, Luciane, it's possible. Trust in yourself, trust that the things are gonna work on. So I needed to work a lot with my own mind. So I feel happy in the end of the year because of this, because I achieved the things, but the way that I achieved the things. Not only because I achieved it, because you can be lucky, you can, I don't know, someone call to you and give you a ticket, an air ticket to...
It doesn't happen like this. Every time somebody says, oh, you're so lucky, you get to travel here. I'm like, no, I'm not lucky, it's a conscious choice. I built this life. I wanted it and I, made it happen.
Exactly.
It's not about luck. It's like no.
Yeah, things are not gonna happen if you don't act.
Yeah.
So you need to act. So for me, year comes and year goes, and the most important is this: I finalize the year with the sensation. Okay, I achieved the things because I wanted.
Yeah, very true. So you'll be here in Barcelona total 2 months. So what is next for you after this? Do you know already?
I want warm.
Warm.
Warm weather. Again, because why I want warm weather? Self-knowledge. I know how is the winter in Europe. I have never experienced it. January and February. The maximum that I stayed it was December in Germany, and for me it was not good. Like dark.
Okay.
So I know how it is. Why I'm gonna expose myself in a situation that I know that maybe it can interfere in my mental health, that maybe it can interfere in my job. So if I know this in advance, why I'm doing this with me, you know? So I could say, okay, let's go to any country now. But if I know that this is a problem, I am choosing like
you choose yourself.
I'm choosing myself, yes. So I don't know, maybe Malta, Italy, I haven't decided yet. And that's a point, because in the past, in like 2 months ago, if I didn't have everything planned, I would be crazy. And now I'm okay with this. Of course, I'm thinking, I'm looking, but I'm not like every day working on this. No, I allow it myself to during the week working my job, and at the weekend plan my future. You know, my future is also part of my work, because I have to plan, I have to book the things in advance. But I'm not like, oh my god, I don't know what to do in February. Oh, what if I don't find? I'm not feeling like this anymore.
So you're living more in the moment.
Now I think I am enjoying more, because I know that I will find a place to stay. For sure. There is no chance that this doesn't happen. So I will find a way. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe Malta or Italy or Canary Island.
Nice.
No.
It's, you know it's gonna be Europe, and it's gonna be warm, and that's enough.
Yeah, Europe, because I don't want to change continent. I want to enjoy the continent more before change, and warm because of my mental health.
That's why I'm also like in December I'm in Barcelona, not in Estonia in the winter and dark, because I don't want to be in a place where the sun rises at 9 a.m. and sets at 3 p.m. I'm like, I'm also escaping winter.
Yes, why you're gonna expose yourself? Because if you were born in a place like this, I think, like you, I think you get kind of used it.
I'm used to it, because here right now it's like, oh, it's summer in Barcelona, and the locals are like, where's my winter jacket? But it's warm. I'm like going around like this. Like, it's warm. The locals are like,
you get used to it. I mean, even with the darkness thing, I think you get used to it. But if you don't want to, you have the choice.
I love the summer in Estonia. So that's like, it's so nice and so alive, and of course we almost have no night, so the sun is maybe sets around 11 p.m. and it's getting light already at 4 a.m.
Wow.
So the night it doesn't get really dark at all.
Wow.
So if you don't have like good blinds, it's very hard to sleep.
Yes.
Because it's super light, and you might be like outside, it's like, oh, it's daytime, then like, oh, it's 9 p.m. because you just don't realize what the time is. It's so alive. But in the winters everybody's like, going very inside themselves, being at home, because it's warm inside as well. In Estonia it's heated, insulated. But South Europe is nice, but the houses, they are not like insulated. It's like, why it's so cold and humid.
So if you know yourself, you know how to pass through the seasons. So
that's working for me.
That's the point. Everything turns around self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. So this is the message I think we want to let to people.
Nice. That's a very good place where also to end. But if people want to like maybe also follow your travels, where can they find you?
I have an Instagram. The name is Sob, S-O-B, one like numero, olhar, so that is OL88R, so sobre um olhar, and after we can write it.
Yeah, I can also put a link in the description.
And people can follow. Mostly I write in Portuguese because are the most of my followers, but now I want to start writing in English as well.
Oh, nice.
I think it's gonna be great. For my students, maybe for people who follow me, and I want to share in both languages, and I share mostly there, and also on my YouTube channel. But this is most for Brazilian right now. But who knows? I cannot teach.
And it's also about teaching, right?
Yeah, it's about like the content itself. Like it's about only English, and also I teach like how to learn, how to motivate yourself, but regarding studies area. Yeah,
okay.
most of this.
Amazing, that was so cool. So thank you for joining me, and happy travels.
Yes, and follow and then
subscribe, like, and share.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.